on the Grizzly True Sports Network, brought to you by Manscaped. Make sure you check out manscaped.com, promo code TGT20 for 20% off and free shipping on your first purchase. I am your host, Mike Goodpastor, and I'm here with former Bengal linebacker Joe Kelly. How you doing, Joe?
Well, Mike, I don't know. I don't know if you posed that question to Bengal Nation. You know how we're supposed to feel. Last week, man, everything happened that I expected. I expected the offense to be inept. We did get a spark from Brandon, and with the longest return in Bengal history, so that was a plus. Defense played well. Defense made some plays, but again, they were playing against Washington. The Giants. So it's tough. It's frustrating. Never did I think that we were going to go down there and win one for the Gipper. I knew the last drive when we had the ball, something was going to happen. I knew the offensive line was going to break down.
Damn, you get to be like me now, Joe.
Huh?
You get to be like me now.
You know what? Not quite, Mac. I don't know. It's going to take a lot to get that far down on the Bengals, man. But it's,
well, see, the difference is this, Joe. You went to the Bengals in 85 or 86. I had 17 years of that shit before you even got here.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough being a Bengal fan. And the thing about it, looking at our conference, looking at Cleveland, what they're doing, the Steelers, and when you look at here, we had our Joe Burrows go down, but look at Baltimore yesterday. Baltimore played. They had, I don't know how many players they had. They had Lamar Jackson out, and they should have won.
Yeah, and they only practiced once in a week and a half.
They played Pittsburgh. Of course, Pittsburgh went on top of the game, and Bud Dupree got hurt, but. You catch the ball that RG3 threw to you right at halftime. You catch it because it was catchable ball. That was the difference. So it's we can cry Bengal Nation and talk about how Joe Burrows, and if one for injuries, everybody has injuries. But at the end of the day, you have to find a way to win. You have to find a way to put all three facets of the game together. And with this offense, with this coaching staff, we haven't been able to do that.
All right. And Mike Holbrook says, been a Bengal fan since 1968. God help me. I don't think truer words have ever been spoken, Joe. I think it all the time. And sometimes when I look at my kids and they're watching a Bengals game, I'm thinking, damn, why did I do this to them?
It's tough because you go on and of course there were some better games on. When I come down to the man cave, I'm watching my Bengals. But I can tell you the difference right now, and I can tell you this year, probably more than any year since I retired, I just totally divested. So I'm not looking at the game. I'm not putting my emotions in this. I'm not going up and down. I'm just expecting these guys to do something to lose the game. I'm expecting the coaching staff to make horrible calls. I'm expecting the coaching staff not to make adjustments. And they are not letting me down. Everything that I'm expecting to go wrong is going wrong. And it's unfortunate because even in this game, you look at our season. Sunday epitomized our season, losing like the way we lost, knowing that we could have went down there one play. It's been one play, one drive, and despite how bad our record is, we are literally every game except two, one play, one drive. They all can. We can as bad as we think the coaching staff is. And as bad as the decisions, the Carlos Dunlap situation, the Geno Atkins being invisible based on where you have him playing and how much you have him playing, this team is still one play, one drive.
Yeah, but don't you think, Joe, that
from winning the game?
Don't you think that kind of comes to coaching when it happens 14 out of 16 times since Zach Taylor's been here?
Well, initially you don't want to say that, but then at the same time, you look at the players that we brought in this year. You look at how the games go, and then some of our young players, how they are playing, and how inept our offensive line. Our offensive line is the worst. Even that being said, we still should only lost 2 games.
Well, Joe, the Bengals have better talent than the Giants, even without Joe Burrow.
Oh yeah.
And we got Mike Holbrook. Thoughts on Duke Tobin? I have no clue why he gets a paycheck. My thought on Duke Tobin is this: this still comes from the top down because you've got a GM with 8 scouts.
We talked about that, Mike. We've been talking about that for years. You look at every single organization and look at their scouting department. You know, they are. Everybody has. I think at least. I think the minimum is 18.
Well, actually, the lowest in our division, the average is 30, somewhere between 30 and 40 scouts for the other 3 teams.
Yes. And like I said, it's right now here, everybody has the Bengals picking the kid from Oregon. You know why? Because everybody's saying it. ESPN is saying it. You know, all the pundits are saying it. Not the fact that anybody from the organization has went to Eugene, Oregon, flew in there and sat down and talked with this kid, talked to his teammates, looked at him at practice, went to a game, and really seen his work ethic. Nobody's from the Bengal organization has done that. And so, that's why we continuously pick the guys that we're picking. And that's how the other organizations, the Pittsburgh, that's how Pittsburgh they're winning. Pittsburgh is winning in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th round. Cleveland is winning in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th round. And when we're losing in all those rounds, to top it off, what makes it worse, we're losing in the 1st round. So all of our 1st round picks, Jonah, out for the season. You go back to Abuehi, you're losing, and we're losing.
Drake Kirkpatrick, Darquez Denard, John Ross, and I want to see John Ross play. I mean, at some point, give the dude a chance.
Well, so I'm saying this. You look at Bing and Bengal Nation. You're looking at, okay, here's a kid. You've already decided that he's not going to be on your team next year, based on what you're doing to him. So you got a guy, the fastest guy in the league. Of course, his college resume, high school resume speaks for itself. The first 3 games of last year, this kid was in the top 3 receiving, catches and yardage and touchdowns. Got hurt. Okay, he has a tendency to get hurt. He has a tendency to, not finish the route. Right now, dude, you can't win. Why is he not on the field? Why is he not running kickoff returns, punt returns? Alex is averaging, I don't know what, 3.5 yards per punt return.
He is a great fair catch artist.
Yeah, I like Alex. Alex and my godson, Darius Hillary, they were roommates together in Wisconsin. So I love Alex. But you have this weapon on the field. Why not? What do you have to lose? Why isn't John Ross not playing? Why isn't John Ross not getting any snaps? It makes no sense. We're looking at our interior D-line. Look at Geno Atkins. You have him lining on 0, rather than, putting him in the 3 technique. Why? Why? What are you doing? Look at Carlos. Look what Carlos is doing in Seattle. Carlos would have been doing that here. Are we getting pressure on the quarterback? No. Not consistently. So you look at the decisions that they're making, and they rather than making football decisions, you see an organization, a coaching staff that is, they're making decisions based on their feelings. Hey, Carlos Dunlap was pissed off. How many teams the guys get mad, coaches get mad, they have some words. Okay, you have some words, you talk about it, you come out, you play your ass off next week. You know, it happens. It
Well,
happens.
these are high school coaches, though, Joe, and that's what high school coaches do. They get their
Yeah,
feelings
yeah.
hurt and they take it out on the players.
Yeah, you look at it, man. Your feelings. I don't want to say it's like a girl because you know here you have female coaches, that throughout the league now. But
Don't get me
our
started
coaches,
on that, Joe.
huh?
Don't get me started on that.
No, yeah. But you know, you look at it, and it's here. You know, why are we still blowing assignments? You know, we're past halfway or the halfway point. Um, uh, you know, it's if it's not if this is not breaking down, that's breaking down. We can't find a way to put it together. I will you know, despite how bad we're talking about them, I will give kudos to the defense. Defense made some plays. They kept the team in it. But once again, it was the Giants. You know, predictable. You know, they had some tough running backs. Of course, they don't have their star, Saquon. They don't have just a dynamite receiving core. So, you know, they were a team that totally, you know, when we beat Tennessee, we knew, you and I, we knew that the Bengals that we seen were going to go on a run. And right now it's just the opposite. And unfortunately, I don't see it getting any better. We know we're down in Miami this week, man. And I don't see it getting any better for Bengal Nation.
All right, and you talk about the defense. The thing that stood out to me was the linebackers because I think all of them played extremely well. I thought Bynes played well. I thought Pratt played the best game he's played this year. I thought Gaither looked pretty good. In the secondary, I think Mackenzie Alexander had a few bad plays.
Yeah.
Overall, this is the best we've seen the Bengals look. But then again, their starting quarterback, Daniel Jones, goes out, the third quarter? And this is not a very good offense anyways, especially without Barkley in there.
Yeah. You know, and like I said, based on their offense, you know, they're not any they don't have any formidable stats. They're not, up leading the league in rushing or passing. They're a predictable offense, with not a high potency offense. And we did what we should have done against an offense like the Giants. So, made some plays, gave some plays up. But like I said, this was one of their better defensive games. So I will give them, kudos for keeping the team in it. Unfortunately, if we would have had Joe Burrows, we probably would have beat Redskins by 2-3 touchdowns.
I think that it's easy to think that, but remember, these are the Bengals, and they usually find a way to lose. So. Yeah. I'm not going to count that. It should happen that way. But the Bengals offense only had one drive of more than 31 yards the entire game. It was absolutely atrocious. I thought the play calling again was bad. Overall, I'm not impressed with Zach Taylor's inability to call plays because, I mean, you got to do something here. He's supposed to be this boy wonder, and you had one drive of more than 31 yards the entire game. And you still have an offense with some really good wide receivers on it. Gio Bernard, there's no running game because for some reason the Bengals aren't going to attempt to run no matter who they have. Yeah. But I just don't understand what I see on offense.
But we got to remember, Mike, the star was McVay. He just so happened to be on the staff. So I that would have to have been Mike Brown's understanding or thinking that, hey, we're gonna have this guy, this offensive guru, and you see the Rams are lighting it up, but the Rams have an offensive tackle that we let get away. The Rams had some interior linemen that could block. So they had a running game. They had, their receivers are not even close to our receivers. But they had the personnel to run the offense that they ran, and we don't. And it shows. Every scheme doesn't necessarily fits everybody's personnel, and his scheme does not fit our personnel. And we could be doing so much damage with the receiving core that we have, because I don't think there's a defensive backfield. If we're running 4 wideouts, that one of our guys is not going to get open. I don't think there's any even Pittsburgh. They're the best defense.
I would go to Rams or to Chargers. I think they may have the best secondaries in football.
Yeah. Well, the San Diego safety is he back?
No, he's hurt, but they're still pretty damn good with what they got. I think they would be by far the best secondary if they had him.
Yeah.
And I just don't see anything getting better. The one thing I will say is the special teams is always the best part of this team, and that's never a good thing. The only team I really remember making the playoffs with the special teams being the dominant part of their team was 1986 Chiefs. You remember the team that was coached by Frank Gans?
Frank Gans.
That slipped by and
Gans. Yeah, he was a special team guru.
Yeah. Remember, it seemed like that year they had like a blocked punt or a blocked field goal returned for a touchdown almost every game, and they ended up slipping into playoffs.
Yeah.
Beating Pittsburgh the last game of the season, which kept the Bengals out. But
yeah. So yeah, man, it's about, Mike. It's about putting all three facets together, and we definitely haven't been able to do that. This game, special teams is on, defense making some plays, and the offense was totally inept. Other times the defense has been horrible and hadn't been able to stop anything. But Joe has been on point, and our special teams didn't contribute. So it's always at least one facet of the game that really comes back to hurt us in the end. You look at it, it has to come down to coaching, because it's always coming down to a play here, coming down to one drive. Can you finish one drive? Can you stop one drive? And that would be insane to think that right now, we could be 8-2, 9-2. That would be crazy. As bad as our offensive line is, we could have been 9-2, which is insane. But it's if I coulda, shoulda, woulda. That's not what the NFL is. You got to win. You got to find ways to win. Pittsburgh yesterday, they won ugly. Mike Tomlin said it was a junior varsity effort, but he won.
How about this? I think he's not. I don't think it was a junior varsity effort. I think the thing about the Steelers and the Ravens and why they're always good is the amount of pride they play with. And we don't see that in Cincinnati anymore.
Yeah. And it, you come, people, are we cursed? Are we this? Are we that? It's still about going out there playing solid football, but the same thing, having solid coaches. Coaches. I think it's underrated when you look at the difference that are off. You look at the difference a good offensive line coach would make on our team right now. A good a defensive coordinator. I ain't gonna say he's good. Give us a defensive coordinator. You put Zimmer over here. You put Del Rio over here. We would have won half these games when we lost, because we'd have made some stops.
Yeah, but there's a reason why Del Rio didn't come here.
I could imagine. And people don't understand that makes a difference when when you go out there and you prepare, Mike, and your scheme, you're comfortable with your scheme, so you're able to go out there and play ball. You're comfortable with the game plan, attacking their scheme. So you go out there and you look at Pittsburgh, and they're flying around. Look at the Ravens, with all the players that they had out, flying around, making plays. Like you said, confident and comfortable with the scheme, comfortable and confident with what they're doing. Even though Lamar was out, here they came in, they made some plays. But as a team, they didn't show up to and play Pittsburgh and fall down. It was every reason for Pittsburgh to beat them, 35-7, based on personnel alone. But they came out and you don't see us. We don't come out with any kind of swag. We don't come out with any kind of confidence. We come out thinking that somebody's not going to make a play. Somebody's going to blow it. Somebody's going to blow a play here. And that's you can look at that, man. This game, because the talent level is so close. between each team. Everybody has NFL. Majority of the teams have NFL quality players. And when you get out there, man, it's not just about talent. It's about your confidence in the next man. Knowing that the man next to you is going to do his job. And we're going to look at, and we're going to be confident. We're going to be confident. It's third and 4. We're confident. Our corner's not going to line up at 8 yards and it's 3rd and 3. We're gonna press. We're gonna challenge. You have situations where, like I said before, just by alignment, we're beat. Like I said, it's third and 3. Corners are 10-yard off. Here, we're playing. Then we go prevent. If it's 3rd and 8, corners are damn near 12. Safeties are 15, damn near 20. By the time the ball snaps, they are running out of there. So the receiver or the tight end just has to come and turn and stop at 10, throw the ball. Fall for it. First down. So it's frustrating. Watching. These guys and watching them run certain schemes and certain coverages and knowing just by alignment and understanding, especially if it's in your conference. These are teams that you play twice a year, so they know you, know them. There's not going to be any magical surprises. Their scheme. You've looked at it. You've studied it. And you go out there and you're still not able to execute, but they are able to execute against you. So, it's rough, man, now being a Bengal fan, Mike.
And next up come the Miami Dolphins. This game will not be close. The Bengals will not have a chance in it. And it's for the simple fact that the Bengals can't run the ball. And the Miami Dolphins defense is one of the best in the NFL. Opposing quarterbacks have an 84.3 passer rating against the Dolphins this season, which is the 3rd lowest in the NFL. They come in with the league's stingiest 3rd down defense. 3rd most takeaways, and they've made life hell on quarterbacks. Gardner Minshew, Jimmy Garoppolo, Joe Flacco, Jared Goff each had their worst passer rating games this season against the Dolphins. And the Dolphins are a team effort. Brian Flores is a great football coach. He's done a great job. And the circumstances were really similar to what Zach Taylor came into last year. Yeah. But 12 Dolphins have at least a half a sack and 5 or more quarterback pressures. And 11 members of the Miami defense has had a hand in 19 turnovers. And this is what Brandon Allen is going to face.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that you see that. We talked about when both coaches took over. We definitely had more talent than Miami. I don't even think it was close. And you see some of the moves that they made, some of the guys they signed. But just what they're teaching, the scheme that they're teaching, the confidence that those guys are going out and play. Like you said here, quarterbacks are playing their worst against them. So if they can make a Jared Goff look as bad as they did, we can only.
Dude, I'll tell you, if they make Gardner Minshew look bad, they're going to make Brandon Allen look bad.
Yeah. And that's who we're going with. And I just think, here it's another decision. Here you traded up to get Finley. This guy's been your 2nd string quarterback for several years. He comes in and plays, quarter and a half, and you bring a kid off the street and put him in front of him. Because I think he played with him and the Rams, the backup with the Rams or something when he was there or wherever it was. But that just shows you, the inexperience, the other players. What are all the players on the team looking like? Hey, this guy, he's been our backup quarterback. He comes in and bow. Now they bring a kid off the practice squad. Now you're starting, next week. But it's just when you have coaching decisions like that, this is what you get. So I think they're gonna being that this is Brandon Allen's second start. I think their coaches they're gonna go after him. They put great pressure on the quarterback. We don't have any kind of running attack, and the pressure that they're gonna put on him, if the average quarterback rating was 84, I'm looking at our quarterback rating probably be down in the 50s. So it's going to be a long day. It's going to be a long day for our offense.
Yeah, and another thing that makes this a long day is this. I didn't realize this, but watching it the last game, I noticed that the Bengals run 11 personnel almost constantly. And I looked it up, and Cincinnati is in 11 personnel, which is one running back, one tight end, three wide receivers, 76% of the time.
Yeah. And then when you do run the ball, you bring in another tight end. Everybody close their gaps down, and you run. I'm sitting on there like, where's the creativity? Where's the pulling guard? Where's the H-back coming in, pulling behind the guard? And, where are the creative runs? In the league, are any teams running creative runs anymore? They're running,
No.
counters.
Well, the 49ers do.
Yeah, the 40, and you see how their offense is. And the times that we do run, everybody, the person who came to the game for the first time ever can come to a bingo game and know when they're going to hand the ball off, just based off their alignment. It's so Mickey Mouse, so predictable. You see corners sitting down on routes. You see safeties cheating up. And they're saying, those safeties are coming off and they're cheating up. They're telling you, I know where you're running and where you're running. And it's over and over. We're not making those getting those big plays. And I think that's due to the fact that defensive coordinators from the other team are fully aware of what our offensive coordinator Zach is trying to do. They pulled his card. They have him, and they know how to attack the offense. Because at the end of the day, you have to keep all the balls out of our receivers' hand. And if you can do that by putting pressure on, closing, shutting down the run, it makes it tough for our receivers.
Well, and for the season, the other thing that really blew my mind was when you look it up, Zach Taylor or Lou Anarumo is in nickel almost 70% of the time, Joe.
You see that? You hear that noise? That's the noise that I'm sitting when I'm sitting at home on the couch in the man cave by myself and watching the defensive schemes. I'm just like, oh my God, what are you doing? Like you said, they're coming in and even if the other team is changing personnel, we are still playing that nickel personnel, and it's last week it worked sort of, but it was the Giants.
Yeah.
So you gotta take it with a grain of salt, and I think Miami, they're going to try to run on us, and they're going to spread us up. They're not going to allow our safeties to come up and put 8 in the box and come and stop their run. I think they're going to make us play honest, and then at the same time they're going to attack us offensively, man. And I'm looking for another long day down in Miami.
Yeah, and as Mike Holbrook brought up, if you've ever watched a Zach Taylor press conference, it's sad.
You know what? I initially last year I was watching him, trying to see what this guy was talking about, and acknowledging, different adjustments. We have to do this, because you can talk about the game is over. So you can talk about we didn't make this kind of adjustment. They were attacking us this way. You're not giving away your blueprint, but it's nothing. It's like you watch the game. You had coaches up in the press box watching the game. Is anybody watching what they're doing? On either side of the ball. And we're able to make adjustments and talk. We got it. We have on headgear. Are we talking to each other? Are we communicating? And it's the same old. Well, excuse after excuse, and maybe we'll do go out there and try and win next week. But it's nothing. It's not. It's not putting the onus on us. We know we suck. We didn't adjust. We didn't adjust. There's no way we should have lost to the Giants. Come on the press conference. There's no way we should have lost to Johnson. Now, that's on me. Offensively, we should have did this. Nothing. It's the same old. You sound like Charlie Brown's teacher now. So I can't, Mike, I can't watch it, and responded to Mike Holbrook. I can't, I don't watch it. I don't watch it. It's on, it pops on, or maybe I may be on my phone and it pops on and I'll just click off because I'm just tired of the excuses. I know Bingo Nation, tired of the excuses. We want to win, win. Let's. I'd rather you come out and say, "Hey, we played horrible, but we won, 1914." And Mike Tomlin from Pittsburgh, he's comes in and his press conference, he's going in on his team, and they won. No, none of that with us. It's just I'm not another day in the park, man. And and the culture is used to this, and it's just status quo. This is what's going to happen, and unfortunately, as much as I want to say, are we going to watch it next week? Absolutely. I'm going to be sitting here glued to the TV, wanting those guys to win, but eventually by the second quarter, they're showing me that they're going to get their ass kicked again.
I cheer against them, so maybe they'll fire Zach Taylor this year.
And that's another thing, Mike. I mean, you look at Detroit, you look at organizations pulling the rope underneath guys, because they're losing, but they're still not losing as bad as we're losing. Coaches getting fired, GMs getting fired. Here we got to make a change. And it's with us. It's just what's going to change? You're going to keep Zach. What's going to change? What's going to change next year? Because we're not going to have Joe Burrows for half of the season. What's going to change? What with Finley and or Brandon Allen? What's going to change?
Nothing.
Joe Mixon. He's back, but he still has the Bad News Bears blocking for him. Defensively, the way you're looking at how everything's going, Geno will be out of here. He's not going to make that kind of money and playing 10 plays. That's not going to happen. Carlos is gone. Your defensive ends, Hubbard, Lawson, they're not getting the job done. Here, no. Those guys are making plays. You know why they're making plays? Because Carlos Dunlap was making plays and Geno was. So, they were forcing teams to double. Somebody had to get double. So you see Sam Hubbard, you see Lawson. Now, when you don't have that push in the middle, you don't have Geno Atkins, you don't have another Carlos Dunlap coming. Are you hearing their names as much? No, because they have to be the guys. They have to be the guys that are now, making those plays. And then if they're making plays, that'll bring somebody else up and help them. But there's not, when you look at our starting defensive line, you don't have to double team anybody.
No.
On a run,
you don't even have to block half of them.
But
we've got the one defense. You know what? I think what happens is this. I think Bobby Hart dominates in practice, and that's where they get the basis that he's underrated.
They have shorts and helmets on.
Well, they probably should have dresses on.
Huh?
They probably should have dresses on the way they play. Man. And the thing that blows my mind is everybody keeps saying, well, they look like they're getting better. I mean, I think Jonah looks like he's getting better. Other than that, I don't see anything that has to be kept on this offensive line.
No. And you're going to keep Jonah because you look at the potential.
Well, I think Jonah is playing better than what he played earlier in the season.
He's playing better, but his footwork is awful.
But you got to remember this, too. He's also playing next to a left guard that's terrible. Yeah. That doesn't help because it's got to be going through his mind, well, maybe I got to help this guy. And anytime you think you got to help the guy next to you, it's going to minimize the effect you can have on a game anyways.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough, man. But, he's, I don't know, man. You have to go out and sign just not a veteran because, you can sign a veteran. You have to go out and get
last year they should have went out and got Brandon Shreve.
Yeah, they should have.
You put him at left guard right next to Jonah Williams. You've got 2/5 of an offensive line at least.
Yeah. And then when you get the kid from Oregon, then now you got all those other guys, vying for one spot. Well,
the thing is, if you've got 3 studs, if you've got 2 tackle studs and a guard stud, those other 2 guys, even if they're average, are going to look much better because of what they got around them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I guarantee you, we want to hopefully get. But the way bingo luck is and our, how things go, I think somebody's going to take the kid from Oregon before we get.
Or the Bengals just won't pick him. They'll decide to pick a wide receiver
Oh
or a
my
corner.
God. Oh wow.
We got a
Another
question from
corner.
Mike Holbrook.
Yeah.
Joe, if you were a rookie now, would you come here?
Me when you that's here being a young player, Mike, coming out of college. I don't in my opinion, I just don't think that I didn't feel that here I earned the right to say
But
I
hey,
did what I
remember
did.
this, Joe. A year before you were drafted, Ricky Hundley refused to come here.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, Rick, I know Rick. You know, Elway did it. I just, me personally, I could have got drafted by the Russian Eskimos if they're in the NFL. I was playing. So I mean, it is what it is, and I think it's as a player, as a young player, not a vet, as a rookie coming in. That's really disrespectful to those veterans on that team. So if you do that, if you say something negative and you come to that organization, and you're bad mouthing, because you're gonna get there, and there's gonna be some pretty good. There's gonna be some pretty good players. Might suck as a team, but there's gonna be some players coming out of college. When you come out of college, you get to NFL. There's gonna be some players on your team that were probably the best players you've ever seen in your life on a sucky team.
Well, how about this? Steve Young refused to be a Bengal, if you remember, and he went to the USFL.
He went to USFL.
And he got drafted because he refused to be a Bengal by Tampa Bay. And he got stuck there for 2 or 3 years, which made him a backup for another 3 or 4 years behind Joe Montana. And yeah, he won a Super Bowl. But I really would have liked to know what had happened in Super Bowl 23 if we'd had Steve Young instead of Boomer Esiason.
Yeah. I mean.
And I love Boomer, great quarterback, but he ain't Steve Young.
No, it's not Steve Young. It's but it is what it is. Some players come out with some bargaining chips. I was, it was unfortunately that I was hoping the USFL was still in contention. And Steve got that big $40 million contract with the $40 million contract with LA Express. So I was a year late. Because they coming in, they won $1. So that took away all the bargaining.
A lot of those guys those contracts weren't upheld once that league folded either.
Because
Steve Young didn't get $40 million. He just got a lot of headaches in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
So Joe, are you going to pick the Bengals to win this week in honor of
Ty? Sorry, Mike. I'm not going to even be long-winded and try and talk about it what we could possibly do. No. I think with our offense, I think our offense is going to be inept. I think the Dolphin defense is going to they're going to do us worse than the Giants defense did us, and their defense is a lot better than the Giants.
And their offense is better than the Giants.
Yeah, so I think our defensive guys, they're coming around, they're making some plays, but you're traveling. I don't know what the weather is going to be like, the temperature, but you're going.
It's supposed to be like 75 degrees, so that's going to make it even worse on the Bengals.
Yeah, so that. So then you're playing in the sun, you're playing on grass, you traveled. I don't see us. I can't give us. There's nothing other than even if we get another return from Brandon Wilson. I don't think it'll be enough. I don't think our offense is in the position with Brandon Allen to put enough points on the board to win the game. So absolutely, Mike. I think it's another loss, and we're just praying for the season to get over, and hopefully, the young guys that we have, none of these guys will get hurt because Pittsburgh may be undefeated, but they've taken 2 major L's at linebacker this year.
Yeah.
So you hope and pray that everybody stays safe and they're not affected, because both those linebackers, they'll be out.
Yeah, but Joe, they still got Big Ben.
Yeah.
And Minka Fitzpatrick, and
they got a good team. They got some players.
Well, they play hard. Even last year without Big Ben, they still missed the playoffs by only a game. They were 8-8 without him. And Big Ben, for my money, is playing the best I've ever seen him play because the turnovers have kind of disappeared with him.
Yeah, they're playing well, man, and it's just unfortunate, you know. I just wish that we can be competitive, and even though like I said, we should have only lost two. You just know, I don't think anybody is sitting back and saying, okay, hey, we got this. Every game that we've been in, every game that we should have won, I think everybody in Bengal Nation is saying, okay, what's about to happen?
Yeah, but see,
Something's
once
about to
again,
happen.
Joe, I mean, most NFL teams, even if you look at the Jets, right now they're 0-12, whatever. Half of those games were lost by a touchdown or less. I think the thing that sticks out to me is guys like Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh, Bill Belichick, they win close games. That's what
Yeah,
makes them great coaches. The other
yeah,
guys don't. And I
yeah,
think a lot of this is this. I think the Bengals go into a game hoping they're going to win.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
I think a team like the Dolphins goes in believing they're going to win,
Mhm.
but I think a team like the Steelers goes in knowing they're going to win.
Oh yeah,
And I think that's the difference between great football teams and bad football teams. You can hope all you want, you can believe all you want, but if you take hope and a belief up against somebody that knows they're going to kick your ass,
hmm
you're going to have a hard time winning that game in the last minute when everything's on the line.
yeah. And you see those guys. Those guys are winning with backup players as well.
Yeah,
And like
because
I
they
said,
have depth. They draft second
yeah,
round through the seventh round well.
yeah. And it's a temperament. It's the tone. Tomlin sets the tone. Harbaugh sets the tone.
Yeah. They're physical.
Those coaches set the tone. And those coaches are able to make adjustments on the fly. And we haven't. We haven't been able for 2 years. You see our lack of making adjustments week in and week out. Even series to series, there's things that here there's a weakness, and the team starts to exploit that weakness, and we do nothing. We sit in the same offense, same defense, and trying to do the same thing. And they keep attacking us, and they continue to be successful. So that's I believe that's the definition of insanity. When it's wrong and you keep doing the same thing over and over. And it's the same. You're gonna have the same result. So it's tough, man. It's tough at this point that we're not talking about going down to Miami and playing hard and winning. And if we go and we win that game and we win this, we're in it. We're out of it. We know we're out of it. We know we're not going to play well. That sucks. That sucks. I can honestly say this is the first time that I'm really able to emotionally divest. And okay, they lost last Sunday, and I was just like, okay, next game. Majority of games, at least I would be pissed. Like now
Yes.
it's nothing.
Apathy
Yeah.
is the worst feeling in the world.
Yes, Mike. That's unfortunate because Bengals have 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 Bengal Nation, man. You have a solid following that deserves competitor to at least
Well,
be
the thing is
competitive.
this, Joe. I think that is the one saving grace we have that could get Zach Taylor fired. Just because Joe Burrow's here, and if he's rolling out with 4 wins through 2 NFL seasons, I think it's going to be hard for Mike Brown to justify keeping him, and it's going to be hard to not have fans. I mean, once fans get apathetic, even if
Yeah,
Joe Burrow's playing,
yeah.
I mean, this team could end up moving.
Yeah, and they could, and it would have to be to a city that is just starving for an organization. You can't, you're not going to be able to move to a football city and put this product, the
Yeah, but
product that you're
remember this.
putting out here.
Remember this. When Art Modell moved the Cleveland Browns to Baltimore, he got Ozzie Newsome to run the team. He hired a good coach, and Art Modell did things a lot differently because he got so much money in that it paid off all the debt he owed. He didn't have to worry about things anymore, and then he ran his team like he should have been running it the whole time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they had personnel too. They're up and coming when they were leaving. So
Yeah, because that was a Bill Belichick team
yeah.
that made the playoffs in '94, and in '95 were in first place until they announced that move, and the team kind of tanked after that.
Yeah, yeah.
But I do think you got to admit the greatest thing out of all that is the fact that the Baltimore Ravens have won 2 Super Bowls, and the Cleveland Browns have still never even been to one.
I know that sucks. That sucks to be a Cleveland fan, knowing
Yeah.
that was your organization.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think the Bengals are set in their ways. I think Mike Brown is set in their ways. I think they're Cincinnatians. Even though people say, me personally, I don't see Mike Brown at this time in his life moving out of Cincinnati. I mean, it's not about money. They got money. I mean, NFL revenue is shared. That's what people understand. Every dime is shared. The only difference, is owners that have businesses outside of the NFL.
Yeah, but it doesn't hurt to have a new $1 billion stadium where you can put a bunch of luxury boxes and get extra revenue.
Yeah. I mean, and the Brown, just like they're not. Their biggest concern is, I'm not going to go sign everybody that can to win the Super Bowl. That's not in them. They took us a shot at free agency. They signed more. They spent more money this offseason than they've ever had. But when you look at it, there's some other things they could have done. But I did enough to excite the Cincinnati fan base. So I don't know if if Mike would be. You think about the team moving, if there'll be some big wigs that come in and offer him so much money, like what happened when I was with the Rams and they sold to the St. Louis organization. Was offered that they couldn't refuse. I can see the Bengals moving if they sold. And that means that Mike is ready to retire. She's done, and they're going to just
well, he is almost. He's like in his 80s, right?
Yeah. So and Paul Brown Stadium, Dad's legacy. So you leave a Dad's legacy and you leave somewhere else. Where's Dad's legacy? Where does that leave Paul Brown's legacy?
I think the big thing we're missing here is what could be Mike Brown's next job. Which, I mean, he is an old white dude with no moral compass, so I think he could be the next president.
Oh man, no, that yes.
Hell, Joe. I think the Bengals lose this game like 31-3.
I'm on board. I think somebody's going to make a play. I think we might get lucky, get a pick six. Our special teams might make a play. So I can see us, scoring. We're going to make a score defensively or on special teams. So, Fat Boy may be able to kick a couple of field goals. So
Fat Randy?
Yeah, so I'm looking at 34-13, something like that. I don't see it being any closer, unfortunately.
That'd be a pretty close game. Since I'm saying 31-3. So, All right, Joe, we will come back next week on the Cincinnati Bengals Weekly Show, and Ty Robbins will be back with us then. Ty works for the government, and he had an undercover assignment tonight, Joe. So,
did he? All right. Yeah. Hopefully he's safe.
He'll wrestle somebody to the ground if it gets unsafe. All right, guys, make sure you follow us at Grilling Truth. You can hear all of our shows on iHeartRadio, iTunes, TuneIn, Spreaker, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you find sports podcasts, you'll find the Grilling Truth. And you can find the NFL show tomorrow at 1:00 live, where we'll pick each of the NFL games me and Sam teach. So until then, for Joe Kelly, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been listening and watching to the Grilling Truth, where the legend